Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigmortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the East End Cerebral.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have, for anime, it's a little bit more of a Japanese flair, How I Became a Japanese Urban Legend. So,
all the ones for anime been with the Japanese flair? Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah, like a little bit. Like, I mean, like we did Ash's Coma Theory, which is Pokemon, which is Japanese. Misfortune.gb is Nintendo based, which is Japanese.
I guess, yeah.
Kune Kune is literally a Japanese urban legend from the 2000s.
For sure.
And now we're doing this creepypasta from 2013-ish called How I Became a Japanese Urban Legend. So it's by MollyKittyKat on Creepypasta.wiki, so you can check it out over there. But before we get too far ahead, I suppose we should give our initial recommendations. I'm gonna recommend it.
I'm not going to recommend it.
I'm gonna partially recommend it.
Running the gambit again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see if you guys can sway me one way or another. I'm on the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a Kune Kune, or you're a Kune Kune just off in the distance on a fence.
Dude.
Waving in the wind. Check out our last episode to understand that reference. But yeah, I suppose we should move on to the rundown. So this is a story all about how I became a Japanese urban legend. Wow.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
I was not prepared.
for the song.
No.
No. I just really wanted to do that because it was like, this is the story all about how.
It actually is though.
Yeah. So Nair.
So that's your rundown, right?
Yeah. That's basically the rundown. I mean, to be fair, that is a rundown. Like that's the quickest rundown for the story.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of self-explanatory. But no, I had a slightly longer rundown.
Okay, fair.
So, we start with Nair, who we don't get a name for them, so they're going to be Nair, Ator. And this Nair is American, and they're living in Japan. Yep. And they never put much stock into the Japanese urban legends outside of just being cautionary tales to scare children into staying at home or not going out at night. You know, like the Hachishaku-sama and and Kuchisaki Onna. Those kind of urban legends of like things that stalk the streets at night and basically lure unsuspecting innocents into answering questions and then getting killed. That all changed though when they came face to face with one such modern yokai, the Teke. And for context, the Teke is a girl who was sliced in half when she fell in front of a train, and now she stalks the night, hunting and killing people by slicing them up with her nails, which make a teke sound as she runs with her hands, like kind of like across the street and stuff like that. Nair tries to flee, but is caught by the entity and gravely wounded. Nair then blacks out and wakes up in an abandoned or empty train station. It's here that they realize that they are dead, or undead, as it were, and now have an urge to hunt down and kill their own victims, which, at that moment, is a girl walking alone near the train station at night. Finn. Yeah, so a little bit longer than my initial rundown of this is the story about how I became a Japanese urban legend. It's really simple and succinct. Storyline. Yeah. But that is our rundown, so I suppose we should move on to everyone tolerates the grammar inquisitions at this point. So Mikey, what do you got?
I have a conjunction junction.
All right. And next stop, Conjunction Junction. Doot, doot.
It's typical that the Japanese would give the scariest of horror story creatures such a misleadingly stupid-sounding name. But there were always holes in the story, such as how in the world a 50-story skeleton hasn't been spotted by more than one person at a time, or even how something that massive could ever sneak up on anyone. And even the story of the slip-mouth woman has its problems. And her tripping and falling onto the railway wasn't anyone's fault besides her own. But the noise did not subside. But during my rambling and strangely calm train of thought, I noticed something. But the scariest thing was, when I gagged, I swear that the pupils of her eyes grew until the whites disappeared from her sockets when she turned and faced me. It was unreal how far she was able to jump. It was at that point that I switched from mildly intelligent survivalist to mindlessly panicked child. It was almost a surreal nightmare. It didn't hurt, but it produced a strange feeling of relief, like popping your back in a violent manner. Finn.
So
That rundown was a story about the split-mouth woman, not about
Yeah.
Take.
who's apparently a chiropractor?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, sorry, I thought like the story I mentioned the Hachishaku-sama like in detail, but I forgot about it was actually the giant skeleton, the Gasha Dokuru, or Gasha Dokoro, or no, Gasha Dokuro, which is basically a giant spectral skeleton made from like the bones of the dead.
Spectral, as in like
It's
ethereal,
like
not.
It's like a ghost-like creature that like it is a giant skeleton, but then it can like do very like spirit-like things, like just like vanish without a trace or be very quiet.
Hence why it could sneak up on people so easily.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually probably one of the older like Japanese urban legends, like not like one that popped up in like modern day, but like it's been around since like feudal Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. But yeah, that was also a that was both a very yet another rundown, but also focusing more on the Kuchisaki Onna mention than anything.
Yes.
Kuchisaki Onna being the slip-mouth woman. Sorry. For context.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
But for those unaware, Mikey grabs all the sentences, throw out a story that start with words that they probably shouldn't, like its, ends, or buts. Because there's always better words to use.
Indeed.
That's why he reads them out into a silly story that, with often very different results than the actual story.
Yeah, sometimes it's
because
just
of lack
another
of context.
Yeah, sometimes it's a very succinct. It's yet another succinct rundown. Sometimes it's a completely off the rails tangent story. You never know what you're gonna get. But I guess next up is Gamer. Do we have a grammar in yellow?
We don't.
All right. Then I suppose we should move on to actual thoughts. So I'm going to start with this one here. Like a typical American skeptic, I didn't take to the Japanese folklore with much heed. After all, every story seemed to have the same moral. Don't go out after dark alone. Therefore, it was only natural to believe that the stories were only a system of keeping kids from wandering off. Man, this is a little bit of connective tissue time because I've been seeing a lot of videos about like 90s Canadian concerned children advertisers. I think we all know. I think we all know those ones like on this podcast of like those like terrifying like cautionary like adverts.
Yeah.
Like stay alert, stay safe, and I'm Astar, a robot. I can put my arm back on. You can't, so play safe.
I completely forgot about that. You just unlocked that memory.
Deep memory unlock.
Mhm.
Or like the one where it's like like this one's like just like a workplace with like for like teens or adults. So it's just like a woman who's like talking about like her day and like how like she's saying that she's like her life is about to be ruined and she's like working in like a kitchen and then she slips while holding like a pot of boiling water and it just goes all over her face and like scalds her horribly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like those kind of things, and like there was like even rougher ones, like crazier ones involving like trains and kids getting amputated, needing to be amputated. I think it was like the children's amps or like children's war amps or something like that. But yeah, anyway, that's what's been like popping up on my feeds and stuff lately, and I'm getting like memory unlocks of like childhood trauma from the Canadian Broadcast Association, but like yeah, so just think of this, like when I was reading this, it was just like, if this is true, like all those stories are like just like cautionary tales, like these are some like again 90s Canadian concerned children's advertisers levels of teaching kids lessons through terrifying and tragic or traumatic scenarios. Like yeah,
Star them enough and they'll do what you want.
yeah, don't go out at night alone, or this creepy lady with like a split mouth will come talk to you and like ask you questions, and if you don't answer them right, well, you're going to either get your own mouth slit or you're going to just get shanked by her shears. But yeah, so yeah, just it made me start thinking about like all the Japanese stories that are just basically like the moral is don't go outside.
Yeah. Outside bad,
Yeah.
inside good.
Yeah. It's like Appalachian stories and like other like North American stories where it's just like don't go in the woods, just don't go in the woods. Woods be scary.
People wonder why I grew up to be a gamer. Staying inside, it's scary outside.
It's dark outside. But yeah, I'll move on to the next thing I have here. But there were always holes in the stories, such as how in the world a 50-story skeleton hasn't been spotted by more than one person at a time, or even how something that massive could ever sneak up on anyone. And even the story with the slipmouth woman had its problems. I'm already starting to feel called out. Like poking holes into stories is our job, sir.
Yeah, really. What are you
doing? Yeah, Nair, this is like you're doing our job for us. Stop it.
Your gerb.
They took her gerb. But I'll move on to the next thing.
Please.
Speaking of South Park, here's the next thing I have with a quote and a comment. However, it is never mentioned what happens if you see the giant pair of scissors on her back and just make a run for it before she asks you anything. Or if you happen to be armed and just shoot the girl in the head at point blank range the moment she takes off that scarf. Oh yeah, Nair's totes American. Gun humor. I mean, it's also like, yeah, very much like, yeah, if you see somebody with a giant pair of scissors on their back, you run. That's just good advice, also.
What if they're like going to an anime convention?
Okay, if they're going to an anime, oh my god, that's where you run the game fodder idea.
That was fast.
Investigators have to investigate like a series of like horrible like things that are going on that happened at an anime convention, and it turns out a bunch of yokai just crashed an anime convention. or it's like it's playing with a like one of those like childhood horror scenario systems like Little Fears or even Kids on Bikes, and you are your characters are attending the anime convention that's being crashed by yokai or Onryo is what they call vengeful ghosts in Japanese.
But yeah, that would Unreal Tournament.
Yeah,
that was my favorite game.
Or on Rio, the OnlyFans for Ryu from Street Fighter.
Wow. Nice.
Sorry.
You should be.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that would actually be an interesting idea. Like again, to throw in for a game is again like have the yokai show up at an anime convention. They'd be inconspicuous until they started killing people.
And at
Until it's
first you'd be
too
like,
late.
"Is this like a stunt that's going on? Is this
Like
a
wow,
bit?"
man, they're really like up in the J horror here this year. These are some really intricate skits they're doing. Their performance pieces they're doing this year.
Blood effects and everything. Wow.
Yeah. But no, I'll move on to the next thing I have. However, my good intentions changed to a furious rush of terror when she jerked violently at the sound of my voice and hopped off of the wall. Before she even hit the ground, I clearly saw that most of the bottom portion of her was missing. She scurried toward me like an angered spider, making indistinguishable groaning and shrieking sounds as she raced toward me. That's when I took off like a scared puppy. Who wouldn't? I wanted to just highlight this bit because I really like this scene, like just how it's described.
I have a question about how it's described, actually.
Okay.
When it says that she was like she came off the wall to get him, like what was her orientation against the wall?
Yeah, I wonder if perhaps maybe it should have like earlier it should have mentioned that like she was like her back was like facing away from him. So like and it was at night and in the dark. So like he wouldn't have seen like that she didn't have a lower half. He would have just thought that she was sitting at the top of this like wall.
I guess, but yeah, like the start of that whole scene wasn't described very well in my opinion, so I didn't get a clear visual of that.
Fair.
But it was still cool overall, yes.
Yeah, I'll understand like the beginning like prior to this scene, but like this part here where she like jumps off the wall like and scuttles toward him, like I think that makes up for it. But yeah, like there could be a little bit extra added at the beginning.
It hopped off the wall makes it seem like she was perched on top of a wall like a cat.
That's kind of how I pictured it.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
That she was like, that she was like basically like again like why I think like maybe like before this it should have been mentioned that like he saw her like in the dark like sitting on top of the wall, or at least that's what it seemed like. And then yeah, she like turned her attention to him when he started talking, and then she like popped off the wall and started like scuttling toward him without her legs.
Actually, you're right. It does say until I saw her torso sitting on a wall. It says that earlier before the hopped off the wall part. So I think I misread that before.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Never mind then.
Okay. Yeah, just a very cool and creepy like scenario. Because again, like yeah, no, you're run. And also, I'm glad that Nair Nair isn't like stupid in this really. Like what happens to him is kind of like not really his fault. It's just like he did what he could do as best as he could do in this scenario, and it just wasn't enough. Like he was just being friendly, and then this thing happened, and he rightfully like tried to nope out and tried to run away as fast as he could, and he just wasn't fast enough. So we're not doing
an Olympic runner basically.
Yeah,
from the sounds of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he was like running. Like yeah, he was pretty athletic, but then he started hearing like the teka 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 getting louder and louder, even as he was like running like as much as he could. So like it like again, it's a Japanese ghost against a mortal man or a mortal human. Like you're fucked.
You're fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll move on to the next thing I have. The possibility of this being an insanely well configured prank had crossed my mind several times. I had asked for this elaborate joke the moment I bragged to all my friends that ghost stories didn't scare me, or that I didn't believe in ghosts, until you came face to face with one. That'll never get old for me. Like the Zach Baggins, like I didn't believe in ghosts until I came face to face with one.
Yeah. Especially since like it works so well with so many different ghost stories, because half of them are exactly that.
Yeah, it's just such a blatant and like I guess it's just a common term, like common phrase.
Mm-hmm.
But I do also kind of like this rationale that he gives, like that he's trying to like rationalize, like as he's like running away from this thing and like trying to like figure out what's going on. because like based on like those international like prank shows that actually happen and like actually air, where like somebody the studio puts like a ghost girl in like an elevator, or like some like creepy like person disguised as like a Japanese ghost or like some other like creepy horror movie like figure in like a public park, and just has them like chase an unsuspecting public. Like I could see that being a thing. Like this guy just walked onto like this was like just another innocent bystander who walked onto the set of like one of those prank shows.
But in that situation, the person that feels like their life is being threatened pulls out a gun and shoots.
I think that's maybe why they don't do it a lot in America. But like, yeah, I think if somebody like starts resorting to violence, that's when like the act breaks. Is like whoa. Like again, hold on. Yeah, I imagine there's also like there's a fair amount of like insurance that goes into those kind of like those shows, because like in case like somebody like they don't want it's all for good fun. They don't want somebody getting hurt.
Sure.
Like either the actor or the bystander there, and I'm sure like the bystanders are like usually like offered a little bit of money or some kind of thing for like participating and having their likeness. Yeah. But I digress. I'll move on to the next thing I have. At the sound of my gag, Teke looked into my eyes. In the light of a street lamp, I actually got a glimpse of her face. In means of symmetrical features and a well-shaped nose, she was actually a very lovely girl. However, the sheer panic of the situation made the beauty matter very little to me. I honestly thought this was about to become a buddy horror or like a para romance, or the para romance variety of a buddy horror, like where the monster girl and the human boy zing upon coming face to face with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but sadly, we didn't quite get that.
I never thought I'd fuck a ghost until I came face to face with one.
You know what? I would not have put past Zach Baggins to try to fucking. I mean, it's the same guy who's like, "Come on, Ghost Bros, come at me." Like,
Ghost Bros.
It's not exactly those words, but he's definitely done like that kind of thing in like some of these like haunted locations where it's like, "Come on, I'm right here, hit me, come on, I'm here, do it, Dylan." Moving on. But the scariest thing was when I gagged, I swear that the pupils of her eyes grew until the whites disappeared from her sockets when she turned and faced me. It would be sad if this was all just a misunderstanding, like and she's just very sensitive about her situation and appearance, and so she just thought that he was like disgusted by her or by her looks and stuff like that, and not like that's why she like freaked out over him gagging, and not like just being a vengeful spirit. It's just like she's just really self-conscious.
Yeah.
She just has a very, very short trigger.
So Nair's the true villain here.
Yeah, clearly. Well, no one's a villain. It's just unfortunate, like sort of an unfortunate like misunderstanding. The next thing I have, I must have blacked out because suddenly I came to my senses in a railway station. Everything was still blackened, horrendously dark, but I was able to see my hands and a few faint glows of shattered advertising signs. And I was like, as soon as I got to this part, I was like, is this Kitsuragi Station? I mean, the way this story's been like name dropping Japanese urban legends, I wouldn't be surprised if like he gets killed by Teke Teke and ends up in Kitsuragi Station. Like that's just where yokais go when they or where the victims of yokais go when their souls are taken.
Like the new yokai go through their tutorial is in Kitsuragi Station, so that now they know how to yokai.
Yeah, exactly. You know how to yokai. I love how you just made it a verb.
Yeah. Why not?
Got a Gokai Yokai. Anyway, I'm dead, I thought to myself, still far too shaken to break the silence of the railway station by verbalizing my thoughts. I'm just going to point out that those are in brackets, so it kind of sounds like you did just say that out loud and did in fact verbalize your thoughts, but I'll move on.
It's fine.
The horror quit at that time, for the revelation that death wasn't quite as terrible as I thought it was, still sinking in slowly. Well, it was in the title from the get-go, I suppose. The story is all about how I became a Japanese urban legend. So, I still think it would be fun, or I still think it would have been fun if this had become a full-fledged buddy horror and Teke Teke choosing the guy, this random guy, to be her boyfriend in the as or like yokai boyfriend, and turning him into a new urban legend entity, like to do that.
You just want this to be another Twilight.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, okay.
Are these the shears of a killer? There. Oh God, he's yeah, but I no
You can't
longer
unsee
recommend
it
it.
now, can you?
Damn it, I hate it. Hate it so much.
Well, hey, it's better than the other option I was going to go with which would have been the Jeff the Killer sort of situation.
Yeah, because then we suddenly have a Jane versus Jeff thing.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't say that.
I'm glad that wasn't brought up at all.
No, not at all. Totally going to be edited out, right?
All right, move on to the next thing here. My last thing, actually, for my actual thoughts. I moved toward the girl, my spine moving unnaturally and my torso twisting on and off of my pelvis, with the large gash that left the upper part of my body half holding on. That's the end of the story. Like the story just kind of ends with him like approaching this this new girl to be this victim to be, and it just ends. And I feel like there could have been a little bit more here, just to, like a few more words, just to conclude this properly for me.
Like running away or something.
Yeah, like or hell, even just like have like the last like have all this happen, like him approaching this girl and like talking about like how his spine and his body's like shifting because in his new form, and then just end off the story with, and that's how I became a Japanese urban legend. Like have the ending be the beginning. Like it's just like sort of like it make it a cycle. Like make it all like come around again.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Yeah, because it just seems like the story just kind of ended, like, and not in like a way. Like I could see this if this was like in a movie medium. I could see this like this would be like how the scene, how the movie ends is like basic, or how the short film ends. Like basically, this guy like became a creature from another creature, and now he's going to go stalk something, and the cycle continues. Like that can be inferred, but in this story, in the written format, like I kind of feel like there's a few extra words that just need to be added, just for like proper conclusion.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Yeah, but that's all I've got for the story. So, Mikey, the East Ends for Evil.
All right. Let's start at the end, as I normally do.
Mhm.
So he's dead.
Yeah.
So
Undead,
yeah, but I mean, last week we had some sort of the same issue.
Oh my God, you're right.
Where how are we getting this story if he's dead?
Okay. Yeah, he clearly wrote it. He clearly typed it up.
He still has his like
Cognitive
mental
function.
functions and everything. There's nothing to say he couldn't have just gone home, went on the internet, and posted this, or stolen someone's laptop or phone and done it.
Yeah, or used his phone, or killed, like when he killed this girl, he took her phone and then typed up the story and posted it online.
He's doing it as like so he can cope with it.
Yeah, because like it seems like he's got like still got his cognition. He just now has an urge to kill. Like he now just has like a preternatural like hunger to kill.
All right, and my next note here is the title.
Yeah.
So I feel it doesn't quite do it justice in that it needs an extra word.
Okay.
And how I became a urban legend victim. Because, I mean, he was the victim of Teke.
Except
He didn't just
no.
die; he became a new urban legend.
Yeah, like
Hence
he's
the
now
title.
now he's shifting pelvis man. Or
Twister.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh no,
he didn't give himself a weird name.
Yeah,
That's one thing I hate.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like if he had been like sliced completely in half, but like and then he woke up and he was still alive, and then suddenly he's walking around and he starts hearing like that is his as he walks around his nails are making the teke sound, like. Yeah, I suppose that would be interesting. But yeah, he now needs a new name.
Yeah.
He's
now
a new Japanese urban legend, but we don't know what he's referred to as at all. So, how can anyone know about him if no one knows about him? You know, like our only exposure to him is this one story.
Exactly.
Oh my god, he's Hangaku, which is half off in Japanese.
Wow.
Hangaku.
Which means he'd be referred to as discount in America.
yeah, exactly. Because he's nearly torso-less Nick, or nearly legless Nick, or nearly legless. Nearly legless. Nearly legless Nair.
Yes.
All right, and then my other note here is that the story ends up being mostly about Teke.
Yeah.
And I feel that the story doesn't do her justice. Because early on, it says... And her tripping and falling onto a railway wasn't anyone's fault besides her own. So,
Wow, blame.
Yeah, if it wasn't her fault, then why did she become a vengeful spirit?
That's
one thing I was going to bring up is basically like he's assuming that she just kind of fell, so like why is she doing this? Meanwhile, for all we know, she was pushed and murdered, hence why she's a vengeful spirit now.
Yeah, because I'm looking. I just looked up the wiki for Teke. Also, apparently Teke sometimes is seen with like a scythe.
Okay,
I told you get a
it
scythe.
seems the most awkward weapon to use when you have no lower body.
So the reason, Teke is basically in Japanese, it's basically like a sound effect. It's like the sound of scraping or scratching. Fell off the railway in northern Japan with the result being sliced in half. She survived the accident, but in agony, and she was neglected by the station staff and died. Okay, so she kind of has a bit of a Jason Voorhees, death, where like Voorhees, like Jason, like died from drowning in the water because all the camp counselors were fucking.
Teke died because she was bleeding out while all the people that were working there were fucking.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why she stalks the night. Yeah, hunting for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
See, if we knew that would have helped actually to get back to your point there, Mikey.
Yeah, but I mean, also counter to that, like the story is about an American skeptic living in Japan, and like they just heard a bit of the story. They didn't like put much purchase into it, so they may not have like. It kind of makes sense that they wouldn't like really know the full story or not really like bother listening to the full story.
suppose.
Yeah. But that could have also been explored in the story, like when he's dead, and like maybe he can, like, maybe get some visions from her, like when he's like in his new yokai form or Onryu form.
Yeah, because like there are other stories about Teke Teke, obviously. This
Yeah.
isn't the only one about that. So I think what Mike is basically getting at is like 3/4 of the story is a story about Teke Teke. Meanwhile, it's meant to be a story about this new Japanese urban legend. Like, it's okay if it was created through Teke Teke, but like
There needs to be more.
he doesn't have top billing. Meanwhile, he should.
Yeah.
He's in the title.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Teke, like, again, in the short film or movie of this scenario, as the credits roll, Teke's actress got like top billing, and then he's like right below her.
Yeah. And the next note I have here is that, like, we get other urban legends, like the slit-faced woman and the 50-story skeleton.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, these deserve their own stories.
Well, yeah, they're just examples that he's giving though about like the urban legends that he doesn't put any stock into.
But
They do have their own stories, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this story, we just get a very brief descriptions of them. And
Moving forward, I'll look up some stories for the giant skeleton. And well, we already technically did a Kuchisaki Onna episode. You guys just weren't in it.
Yeah.
Brought it up enough that we know.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've said "bless you," I know that you've said it a lot.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry. Just quick aside here. I just saw that the children's song Satchan is sometimes associated with the urban legend in rumors and scary stories, tying the lyrics "She really loves bananas, but she can only eat a half," with the missing lower half of the spirit. One
That's
popular
a stretch.
I know that is such a stretch. Oh god. Sorry. I just saw that like in the wiki article about like the legend. Oh, she's also known as Missing Legs.
Actually, so
Yeah.
early on, I didn't write a note about this, but I'm going to chime in now because I'll forget. Early on, it said that she fell on the train tracks and was cut in half, blah, 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 moving on. It basically says it that plainly. And it says like she was cut in half and she's called Teke Teke because that's the sound of her nails on the ground moving around. So for some reason, maybe it's because it's the most horrifying option. When I imagined cut in half, I thought vertically.
Yeah, so did I.
And she was like two separate, like one person, but two separate pieces. And you would still have to use your nails to move because you literally just have one arm and one leg to move.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be like this double thing that would be attacking people, which would be horrifying as hell.
I think in that situation it would have been bisected. Would be the proper word for that, but I do understand where you're coming from because like I did also like for a second think like down the middle, not across.
Oh.
Which I mean, I so like and again like the even the narrator here it comments like I would have thought she would have just been splattered. But like I guess she went under, like she hit the tracks first and then went under the train, and rather than get like splattered by the train, she basically got cut in half by the tracks, like by getting cut by the wheels and the tracks.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably like just enough room underneath the train for her to like not be like mangled too badly, except for on the rail itself.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyway, back to my actual thought. So, these other urban legends that we get snippets of that I want to know more about, when you get to the end of this story and we get the small snippet about him being a monster now, I could care less. because we don't
Rude.
get.
Yeah. That
Well,
was
we
rude.
we don't get the reason why he's become a monster. Like, why is he a vengeful spirit?
Yeah, it's sort of like he's now just a vengeful spirit because he was killed. It's like a vampire or a werewolf. He's now
Or
an Onryu.
or he's become a zombie, which is a victim of Teke Teke, and I guess Teke Teke makes zombies.
Yeah,
but-
which if I feel like there'd be more of a pandemic, or there'd be more of a zombie epidemic in Japan if Teke Teke generated zombies. Maybe because he only got maybe because he because in most of the stories, like, the victims are sliced clean in half and he was only partially cut in half. So maybe that's what made him a monster, like turned him into one of the undead versus just dead.
Yeah, but clearly Teke Teke has the ability to finish the job. Like, it's not like she slashed him once and left, because she can only make one attack per turn.
Which is why it really is she just wanted to make a monster boyfriend.
Yeah.
She's just lonely. She saw this big strapping American. Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, that's my actual thoughts.
Fair. Gamer.
Okay. So right before I even started reading, the title gave a lot of stuff away.
Yeah.
Specifically, when I read the title, I'm like, okay, so just on the title alone, Nair has to not be Japanese themselves. Just in the wording of that. Because otherwise, it would just be called an urban legend, not a Japanese urban legend. It's like ordering Chinese food in China. It's just like food.
Food. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't like it gets right down to brass tacks. Like, this is not, he said, the character clearly says that they're American.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And then in regards to Nair, I appreciate that there's a bit of character to them, because like a lot of other stories, when there's a Nair like character that doesn't have a name, they usually don't really have any character to them. They're just there to be the main character of the story. They're just the camera while the story happens around them. Meanwhile, like, this Nair is like, okay, really negative, honestly, about all the creatures.
Yeah,
like,
no, yeah.
He's basically saying, like, this one's stupid because of this, that one's stupid because it's huge.
Yeah,
the story that I'm actually telling you about has a dumb name. Like, he just keeps
he's being a critic, or like a skeptic.
Very relentless.
Yeah.
And like, while I hated the negativity that was constant, I at least appreciated that it was an actual character with a personality.
And then it's cathartic when he gets turned into one himself. It's karma.
Yeah. But like, in regards to him saying that Teke Teke is like a dumb name or a silly name for it, I will fight Nair to the death on that, because I think it's a great name, because like the reason behind it and everything. Yeah.
Also, I want to add a little addendum to what I said earlier about like how the ending should have been. So like, yeah, and that's how I became a Japanese urban legend. And then like gives him his own name, like, and it's like just as like silly, like, again, like half off, or or like nearly legless Nick. Shifty. Because he's always his upper torso is always kind of shifting about.
I don't get the visual of him, to be perfectly honest. I don't.
So from what I can visualize, like, he got like half sliced in half, like from the by the nails. So his spine was severed, but he still has like meat on one side that's still like holding him in place. So he's just kind of flopping a little bit. His upper torso is kind of flopping as he walks.
It's not talking about him being floppy. It's talking about him unnaturally twisting on and off my pelvis.
Yeah,
which makes it sound like he is disconnecting into two people and reconnecting, or into two pieces.
Yeah. I think like it's like the spine. The spine is basically like shifting, and so you can hear that horrible like kind of sound of like two bones kind of like constantly like rubbing and clicking as he's moving around. Like it's flopping is a bad idea, but yeah, it's
I hate the wording of my torso twisting on and off my pelvis because it sounds like he has threads in there and he's unthreading himself and rethreading himself down.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, it does also sound like a sex move.
Kinda does.
Like a ghoulish sex move.
I guess what it is like basically, let's assume that the left side up to the belly button is all meated and all connected. But like his spine is severed and all that. So like when he's walking, his upper body would twist and like flop like forward and back, but it's not like twisting 360 degrees. It's just kind of like oscillating back and forth. Like it's separate from his pelvis, I guess.
I think so. I think that's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of an odd way to describe it.
But it does also say earlier that he twisted his spine 180 degrees around.
Wait, yeah.
So like he is able to like does it say spine actually? Hang on. Search for 180. My spine crunched as my torso turned a full 180 degrees when I looked behind me.
Okay, so he can. So he's 180 is not like all around. That's 360. So 180. So he's able to like rotate his front can actually see his ass.
Yeah, it's like that guy from.
Why didn't they tell me my ass was so big?
Yeah,
yeah. It's literally Mel Brooks's Emperor Scrooge or whatever his name is from Spaceballs when he gets into the teleporter.
Now we know what this urban legend is called.
Yeah. Hail Scrooge. Is it Screw or Scrooge?
I don't know. It's been a hot minute.
Spaceballs Emperor.
I'm just gonna get there first.
Scroob. His name is Scroob. President Scroob.
Yeah, there you go. We were very wrong.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, I still don't get the visual of this.
Fair, yeah. I kind of get it as like he's just sort of again his upper torso kind of is able to like rotate and shift like unnaturally while he walks. I think is just how I was seeing it, but it could definitely, I will agree, it could definitely be described. I'm going to agree it could be described better.
Yeah, for sure. And no, I was just reading it to myself to try to like visualize it better. Like my spine crunched as my torso turned a full 180. What does that mean? My spine crunches? Like it made a noise as my torso turned 180.
Yeah, that's how I got it. Like basically like the bone is sounding, but like also his muscles, whatever like torn muscles and stuff would also be making sounds as well. But
so because he is turning 180, that does not necessarily mean his point of rotation is in the center of his body. His point of rotation is on, theoretically, the left side of his body where the meat is, because he is hinging out sideways.
Oh god, he's a Pez dispenser of flesh.
Well, yeah, if he's flopping that way, but I mean, like, on the Z-axis, if you know what I mean. Yeah, okay. I guess that's how that works. I'll go with that.
I mean, it's both silly and disturbing at the same time. Like that.
It's visual. Like you could open his torso like a door, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. They call him the doorman. No, and look at what Japanese is for doorman.
Call him unhinged.
Yes.
The hinger.
I liked unhinged in Japanese. What is that?
He's technically hinged, though. He's not unhinged.
No, he's still unhinged. Hinji no nai.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, Hinji no nai.
There you go. You got a name. Moving on.
Yeah. Also, there's another translation of unhinged as Tori Mira na Shita.
It's harder to say. Go with the first one.
Yeah. Go with the Hinji no nai. Thanks, Google Translate.
Which is, it's Google Translate, so it's probably wrong anyways.
Yeah.
So my next note here is I kind of touched on this a little bit in regards to why Teke is so angry. And Nair says, I've seen plenty of people who lost their legs on reality shows or whatever, and they seem pretty happy. And her tripping and falling onto the railway wasn't anyone's fault besides her own. Therefore, that myth seemed to contradict a rational human mindset. I mean, like, you say that, Nair, but, like, the knowledge is based off of quote-unquote reality shows or whatever, which isn't exactly the most credible of information.
Yeah.
Like, even those people who Nair says are quote-unquote pretty happy, I'm sure they'd much rather not have lost their limbs in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, people persevere and deal with it, but, like, I doubt anyone is like, this shit is awesome. Handicap parking spots aside, of course, I'm jealous.
Yeah. Also, I just gotta ask this: did anybody else like misread this by the first time they like looked through this and thought that like people who lost their limbs on reality TV shows, like they lost them during the filming of the reality TV shows?
No, I did not read it that way.
I there was a second when I was reading it, was like that doesn't sound right.
No.
I don't think this story's being like that literal, but it's just like for a
No.
moment I was like, what reality shows are you watching?
And what are they called, please?
Yeah, the reality shows the reality shows on the dark web.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry,
The dark web.
That is the proper way to say it. Yeah, that's basically my note on that.
Okay.
Him saying pretty happy is kind of an awkward way to put it.
Yeah.
But again, it's just, that's this character's opinion. And this character's opinion is valid. I just don't agree with it.
Also, he kind of gets his comeuppance about it because like being all like kind of like so like kind of skeptical and even like kind of what's the word for it?
Negative, pessimistic.
Yeah, I wasn't like thinking pessimistic. Not arrogant, but like just kind of being like so like it's like, well, what, like I don't see the big deal. Blah, blah. It's like, well, you're about to get your comeuppance. Congrats. Now you're a
Ignorant,
Japanese...
maybe.
What?
Ignorant, maybe.
Yeah, maybe just ignorant, like, but like being so like confidently ignorant about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he gets his comeuppance at the end of the story in a way. So.
In a way, he absolutely does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's actually all for my notes because I chimed in on my last one as well.
All right. Then I suppose we'll move on to final thoughts. So yeah, I'm still going to recommend this one. Though it could definitely use some work, specifically at the very end. I really liked what's here otherwise. It's a bit of a metatextual sort of nod or of various urban legends and then like Nair himself or Nair themselves becomes an urban legend, as the title suggests. And it does kind of spoil that, but I mean, like, you're kind of going in expecting it with that title, so it sort of suits it. Honestly, it's sort of my vibe of a story of like again that meta-ness of like the story's talking about all these urban legends and then the character becomes one. So I dig it for that, but I could see this being improved upon. But I'm still willing to give it a full recommendation because I enjoyed it for what it was. So that's why I recommend Mikey, the E stands for evil.
Yeah. So the main issue I have with this is as an origin story. We don't get a reason why he comes back as an urban legend. Most urban legends have basic vengeful spirit, or there's something tying him to this plane of existence, so he can't pass on to the afterlife. Which is why they're sticking around. But we don't really get that. He was just attacked by another urban legend and then became one.
So in Japanese urban legends and folklore, there is the thing of a grudge, which is what the movie was, and the movie The Grudge was kind of based off of, where if something of a malignant nature like can manifest, and when somebody is like killed by that thing or something, like somebody's killed by that malignant thing, they basically also become that malignant thing. So like basically it like the malignancy passes on to the soul of the person who is killed by it. So it just kind of it begets and like kind of continues to like propagate that malignancy.
But then wouldn't that mean that the person just became another teke?
Not necessarily. I mean, it could be like maybe he was going to become if he had been like completely cut in half, but because he was only partially cut in half, maybe now he's just become something like half. He's a half teke.
I think the whole idea is just like Teke is a vengeful spirit.
Yeah.
If Teke as a vengeful spirit was not cut in half, they would have normal locomotion and all that, but they were cut in half, so that's their thing.
Yeah.
Nair was partially cut in half when he was murdered and turned into a vengeful spirit. So because of his weird hingy upper body, that's how he moves around. It's not necessarily anything to do with Teke. It's just if you are killed by an evil spirit, you become an evil spirit, and whatever form your body is in at the point of death, that's what you're going to look like. If you're decapitated, then you'll have a head and a body that are separate, and then that's your form.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
At least that's what I'm assuming based on what Cultist said and me just trying to make this work.
Yeah, no. That's what I was kind of trying to get at as well. Was like it's gamer nailed it.
I did it.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't to me seem like there's enough content there to warrant him becoming an urban legend.
I think we do. I think the story could definitely either benefit from like more to show of like how he gets known as an urban legend. Because right now, literally, like the story ends just as he's about to make his debut.
Yeah.
So I do agree.
For all we know, he'll go to attack the girl, and then a train will come by and own him. Like, and then no one even knows about him.
Yeah. And then pointing out the small snippets that we get of other urban legends. I want to know more about.
All right, we'll do an episode on them.
Because, well, the small little bits we get seem cool, but then at the end, the small little bit we get about this new urban legend is like, well, he's not that cool.
Yeah, I kind of wish that we'd like if like I don't think this story. I don't think this author has done any other stories since then. But like, I kind of feel like this could have been like this could either like this either is like an original like thing that they did, or they're just like kind of like maybe they heard about some creature. But I've never really heard of an urban legend quite like what this guy becomes. So I think this was like more like an OC.
Kind of in this, I know I brought up before, unfortunately, but I know I brought up Jeff the Killer before. But it's the same sort of thing where it's like if you are making a Jeff the Killer like adjacent killer in that mythos, it has to at least come up to the same coolness or interestingness as the source material. Because if you make someone who is less interesting than the original, then it's like, why would I bother reading this if the main one's more interesting?
Yeah,
I think that's what Mikey was getting at, is like all these other Japanese urban legends are super cool, and then we have Twisty Torso Man, which we don't really know enough about. And like I'm still fighting with the visual on this guy.
That's fair. So from Mikey's point of view, it's kind of like how in some movies they put like posters in the kid's bedroom that's of better movies that you could be watching.
Wow.
Which I have seen done.
Yeah.
It is unfortunately a common occurrence in some movies. But yeah. Yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah. Like this is sort of like it's trying to cling to the Teke legend when it should really kind of stand on its own legs. But
nice.
That was unintentional. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I realized
with every passing day.
I realized halfway through it, I was like,
I have to complete it though. You can't just leave it.
Can't leave it half off. Huh?
Wow.
I'll just leave.
No, you're good. I've never been so proud.
Thanks, Dad.
So, with that said, I am still not going to recommend this.
That's fair. Gamer.
So, for me, the read was all right. I both, like I said before, I both appreciate and hate the character of Nair because of how negative he is about everything, and he's like trash talking all the other urban legends, which, as Mikey said, are kind of more interesting than the one we have here.
Yep.
Which might be like him just trying to hype himself up because he's talking about himself this whole time.
True. Yeah.
He's being his own hype
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the whole story is being written by him and telling his story. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Teke Teke themselves is awesome, and I fully recommend that whole creature. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But like the loose creation of this new unnamed creature, like could use a lot more description and a name, of course. And as we said before, really like this creature needs to take top billing in its own origin story.
Yeah, it's like if it's like if Daredevil, like in the movie Daredevil, like it was focusing more on Elektra.
Yeah.
Which it kind of did. It kind of did, but it also didn't.
Yeah. But if it was like 90% or 75% Elektra.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he an origin story about a new creature. We need most of it to be about the new creature. Teke Teke should be the opening kill to this movie, and then we get the titles, and then we get the movie.
Yeah, like 2 paragraphs at the beginning of the incident, him encountering Teke Teke, and then the rest of it is him coming to terms with the fact that he is now an urban legend, or now that he is now a monster, and then his urban legend grows in the rest of the story.
Yeah, because if you view this as a movie, this is a Teke Teke movie.
Yeah.
It is not a movie about this new guy.
Which there are Japanese horror movies about Teke Teke.
I'm sure there are.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is... Teke Teke got way too much top billing here.
Yeah. And that's why I was kind of saying partial, because like I like that I was introduced to Teke Teke. It's pretty neat. But because I'm viewing this as a Teke Teke like creepypasta, even though it's technically not. So in the regard, or in the aspect of this being a origin story creepypasta of a new creature, I can't really recommend that because it doesn't do that job very well.
Mm-hmm.
But it exposed me to other neat urban legends out there that I'm sure we're going to get into, so gets points for that. But still, this could be cool. It just needs some more work on it, so there's more focus on the character himself. Or a follow-up story to give more focus on it, maybe? I don't know. It needs more. So I might... I guess I'll change it to not recommended.
Yeah, you're going to hop off the wall and...
Yeah.
I just realized, like, when you're saying, like, oh, you're on the fence, I was like, wow, that's actually, like, that's the parallel. It's like, you're on the wall.
Yep, sitting on the top of the wall there.
Yep, or on the rail, on the rail line.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I had to decide one way or another from the top of that wall if I had to glomp down onto Nair or glomp down onto Teke Teke, and Teke Teke is cooler, so I guess I'm on not recommended.
Also, nice anime fan terminology, glomping.
You're welcome.
God. That's a deep memory unlock of like my anime convention days of like people just like having signs of like will glomp. Or anyway,
it's like a gross sounding word.
It is, yeah. Well, it's also like I remember this is getting off topic, but it was like very like,
oh really? Talking about glomping is getting off topic.
Yeah, it's like non-consensual glomping.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I guess down to brass tacks. 1 recommendation and 2 non-recommendations. So take that what we will. And that'll do it for this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted. Some of us are on Blue Sky. Mikey is at the E Stands for Evil, and I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldentebrigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, spooky things. You creep it, we'll peep it.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to help support our show financially, you can go to Patreon. We have special episodes, early access, and extra content. To all our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely, because without your listenership, it'd be like screaming into the void. And without your authorship, writing and posting these stories on the internet, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we'd have nothing to talk about. So thank you. Now is a good time to also mention that we are part of a podcast network, Crit in the Night, an actual play and creepypasta podcast network. We're there alongside our sister podcast, One Less Die, and our cousin podcast, The Role Playing Exchange, for things that go crit in the night. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the East End Retrieval.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well. Tekka, tekka, tekka.